Thank you, Presiding Officer. This week, the CBI revealed that 105,000 renewable jobs are contributing over £10 billion to the Scottish economy. Reform would end that industry tomorrow, and the Tories inflicted the tax on Scotland's energy that is costing 1,000 jobs per month. The First Minister knows Scotland needs oil and gas supply chains and skills to deliver these renewable jobs. So can I ask the First Minister what action his government is taking to support our offshore industry and the renewables industry to drive forward Scotland's economy?
First Minister.
May I thank Laura Mitchell for her question and welcome her to her place in Parliament as the member for Murray, and look forward to her contribution. The issues that she raises, of course, in relation to renewable energy and oil and gas are central to the economic interests of her constituency, and I know that she will champion them effectively in this Parliament. In relation to the CBI report, I welcome very much the CBI report, and I had the opportunity to reflect at the CBI's annual Scottish lunch last Friday with the Cabinet Secretary for the Economy on the importance of a collaboration between government, business, our renewable energy and oil and gas companies, our universities and other players within our economy, our local authorities, and I had the opportunity to reinforce this message when I opened the new renewable energy engineering centre for Hitachi UK yesterday in the city of Glasgow, on the importance of creating a sense of common purpose within our economy to make sure that we are all taking measures that will support the oil and gas sector, support renewables, and make sure that we accelerate the transition to net zero. Now, what we need to see is practical measures taken to strengthen the financial viability of oil and gas activity, which comes through the removal of the Energy Profits Levy, which is long overdue, and the acceleration of the steps to consenting around the grid, which is necessary on renewable energy developments, and that will help to realise the ambitions that Laura Mitchell has set out today, and I give her the assurance that the Scottish Government will argue for all of these provisions.
Backbenches have been very well behaved with short, sharp questions. I would like shorter and sharper responses to allow more to come in. Claire Baker.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. The Learning Review into the case of Family C in Glasgow has been published in recent days. Commonly known as the Beastie House, this report evidences the multitude of institutional failures that resulted in children enduring a decade of degrading, violent and sexual abuse at the hand of adults who were supposed to be caring for them. The heinous crimes committed are truly awful and heartbreaking. That this was able to happen in modern Scotland, where we have a multitude of children's policies and strategies that are supposed to protect children and recognise their rights, is a disgrace. I recognise that the First Minister has given an apology to a scrum of journalists, but that is not equivalent to giving a statement to Parliament. And can I ask the First Minister what he has to say to victims and to Parliament about these serious failings?
I'm grateful to Claire Baker for raising this important issue, and I agree with her conclusions and her assessment of this report. It is absolutely terrible reading, what has been disclosed. I want to pay tribute at the outset to the children who, from my reading of the report, have demonstrated extraordinary strength and tenacity in being able to convey the suffering that they have experienced. And I expressed an unreserved apology to each of those children involved. It is clear from my reading of the report that there were serious institutional failures in understanding and connecting all of the information that was available. And I find it difficult to comprehend how that could be the case, because the information was so obvious and so compelling. But it demonstrates what has been an issue which has occurred in a number of cases on different occasions, of the failure of institutions to make connections between information that comes together to therefore necessitate action and intervention. And that is just one of the key points of learning that must come out of this report. The Cabinet Secretary for Education will be meeting with the City of Glasgow Council to consider this issue, and it was discussed at Cabinet on Tuesday. And I want to make sure that the lessons identified in this report are the source of challenge to all child protection committees in the country, because I agree fundamentally with the point that Claire Baker makes, that it is simply beyond comprehension that such experiences could take place in 21st century Scotland with the policy framework that we have in place. We have to honestly face up to the institutional failure that is involved, and I give her the commitment that the Government will do so.
Liam Kerr.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. After releasing more than 1,400 prisoners early, cutting the automatic early release point to less than a third of the sentence, bringing in a presumption against short sentences and all but stopping under 25s from going to prison, Scotland's prison population is nevertheless still at record levels. So does the First Minister accept that the knee-jerk, ham-fisted early release has failed, and can he confirm that his government will not bring forward yet another early release scheme to cover up its failure to tackle Scotland's prison capacity crisis?
First Minister.
The issues that Liam Kerr raises are serious issues because the prison population is at a very, very high level, and the level of incarceration is very high at the present moment. Part of that is because of the success of the criminal justice authorities in prosecuting individuals for historic crime and the length of sentences that have been applied. It gives rise to significant issues about prison capacity, and that issue is being addressed very directly. The Justice Secretary and I met to discuss this issue yesterday, and will be the source of very focused work amongst partners to make sure that we take all the action that is necessary to ensure the prison population can be stabilised and our prisons can operate safely for all concerned.
Keith Brown.
The First Minister may be aware that 60 families so far in my constituency have had to be evacuated at very short notice from their homes due to underground movement in the former mining community of Coles Norton. The distress and uncertainty caused to my constituents, including their children, cannot be overestimated. Can the First Minister assure me that the National Resilience Framework and his government generally will spare no effort in assisting my constituents and in ensuring that the Mining Remediation Agency and the relevant insurance companies fully and quickly discharge their responsibilities and provide serious support for my constituents as they experience the profound distress of being moved from their homes at short notice?
First Minister.
I'm very concerned about the issues that Mr Brown raises. I'm familiar with the points, and I provide him with the assurance that the Government's Resilience Network is actively supporting Clackmannanshire Council on this question. The Mining Remediation Agency are actively engaged with the partnership in taking forward the support that is required. I acknowledge the distress and the inconvenience and the anxiety that this causes to Mr Brown's constituents, and I provide him with the assurance that the Government will do all that it can to support the residents concerned and Clackmannanshire Council. And if there are any specific areas in which Mr Brown would require assistance from the Government, he knows that the Government will respond very swiftly to any request that he makes of us.